the literal El Clasico. But whatever. We know you love your little car references. Like, oh, they're gonna be getting into 7th gear, whatever's coming up today. But yeah, we're getting straight into our pistol round. One of the things I'm super excited for is seeing this man back in his jet. The defensive side of Liquid when it comes to Haven becomes so much more aggressive, but look at the pace of FNATIC. They're going right in here, and it's left onto Soulcast to defend.
Oh, this is going to be quite nasty. Doma is actually finding Soulcast, and the FNATIC side seem to already have conquered A. Link considers to make a little move, but all he gets is a few shots through the wall. The wood is not the best kind of cover, and Liquid now need to consider what is the plan for the retake.
It's going to be tough to try and get back in from here. Scream, no dash remaining, so can't even really make space. The single cloud burst available to try and push him a little bit further forward, and they're ready and set with a paranoia to leave these remaining players blind. Even with Scream nearsighted, he'll be able to take down one, but the pop flashes back. What is these pictures?
The pictures are brilliant, and take a look at that. It is pretty much nobody else than Poster. Face palming already, but Scream is actually doing what his name intends to do. Liquid finding that diffuse and finding the retake. Can we have those pictures at any time again? This is ridiculous. I know.
Okay, just give me a reminder during this game. Don't look at the player cams because I'm not going to be able to cope with that. FNATIC are the biggest trolls in the entire scene, I swear. Like. It just comes back to very serious play. I love how Boaster's in every single one. Like, except his own. He's just normal in his own. Fantastic. Well, a brilliant retake in the end from Liquid. I won't lie, I was laughing through most of it, so I may not have seen the majority of what happened, but especially because it was a situation where they were down.
Right.
But now we're actually going to get a force buy straight away, Sesh. FNATIC want to break back.
Yeah, and it's Poster playing on the desktop of Durka, but in the meantime, Liquid have a quite easy time shutting down this fast execute. Well, poor Doma's getting rabies here. Soulcast is finding him with the little Tasmanian Tiger. And as Mystic is flanking around, Poster realizes there are more players to come over spawn. And Scream just milliseconds away from killing him. No, dashes away, but all in time. The weapon that has basically been made for Adel is not gonna find him a kill. It's still looking somewhat doable. FNATIC are finding kills left, right, and center. But finally, it's all in the package. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely excellent here from Liquid. And this is obviously how you would expect them to get the second. No big surprises there in the end. But the recent games between FNATIC and Liquid, they all panned out in favor of the Big Orange. It was in Reykjavik where they beat them 2-0. It was recently in Challengers 1 where they also found the victory. And obviously, this is the crucial part then. Haven is one of the games, for example, where when we go far back, when we take a look at the EMEA Challenger playoffs, that it was actually Haven being taken by FNATIC 13-3. Like, this is insanely convincing. And so far, insanely convincing by Liquid, but the weapons are in.
Yeah, this is where, again, the force buy not going too well for FNATIC is going to definitely come back and bite them. We'll see what they can actually do with the pistols. But this is going to give a huge boost to Liquid's economy if they can take this one over the line. Again, it's going to be a very aggressive push. All in plays so far from FNATIC. The pace being picked up to put the pressure on. And Dirk already finding one solid flash. And he's going to get a second of the round.
Massive amount of damage that has now been dealt by the side of FNATIC. It does not mean that this works easily, as suddenly Yumpy is hiding back in window and shows us his proficient aim. Proper stuff from the young Finn, and as we have heard earlier, he as well as Dirk is shared at the same school. I'd like to know what the name of that school actually is.
Are you gonna send your firstborn there to come back good at Valorant?
I have to learn Finnish first of all. I think this is where I need to start.
Well, that's not... No, you're not going to go there. You send your kid there, and then they'll learn Finnish as they're there. It's all part of the plan. Like, you just send them off to this school, and they'll be like, oh, but Dad, like, why? We don't even live in that country. It's like, you will be good at video games, and you will come back, and you'll win me trophies, okay? I shouldn't be a parent, is what
yeah, I just wanted to say, like, maybe we need to think about that. I don't want to make you the godfather of my children if I ever have some. Let's put it that way. Either way, Soulcast starting off good as Doma is having the reply to that. in the meantime, FNATIC split up quite massively, and all over the place they are, waiting for the right kind of entry. So just leave Durka over in front of a short. Works successfully on the first, knows that Breach is nearby, but he's out of there.
Yeah, this is the round, realistically, where this is kind of the bonus for Liquid, but after losing a few players here and there throughout the rounds, they do have a decent amount of rifles here. Already finding the information that C's actually completely clear. Only utility there to hold on to it as they gambled on a take towards the A site after the picks had already come in. You get a couple of kills on A. Most of the time, teams are going to opt to push in that direction, but FNATIC do well to fake it out, garner control elsewhere. And now for the remaining players, well, I imagine the finances of Liquid are actually going to be pretty good. So 3 versus 4, even if they make this one costly, that's not too bad a round for them.
No one concussed on the site, but that should vanish before Scream is even entering. He has pretty much of an idea where he is, but as Doma fails, it's all working in favor for Liquid 4 now, as though you have to say, obviously, it's made for the retake. Link's waiting and gets killed. Durka goes on and on, same with Magnum, and the trio survives and prevails. The first round is finally here for FNATIC. It took a while, it took a bit, and he's gonna make it, no worries. It's only the guard.
I don't know about you, but if there's something that explodes and destroys everything in the area, I think there's a few worries. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I don't want to get sucked into some weird black hole and disappear for good. But 3-1. We do see the majority of FNATIC survive, so all in all for their first proper buy round coming in onto the board, it's not too bad. Durka's going to use his Blade Storm in this round, so probably not going to see him invest into a weapon. And on the other side of things, it's actually not as good as I thought it was. Link is he really not going to have a weapon here? It's just going to be the pistol. Now, the operator's into play, and we know exactly what that can do. We're actually seeing shock darts go over to destroy a lot of the early utility, give some space for Durka to push over the top, but it is just one, and then a quick trade for Scream.
And that's the thing, it is just one. It might have not been even that successful as they thought it would be in the Blade Storm. Just some success, but Doma obviously finding the kills when needed. Problem though, it is Yumpy who's left alive. Ice Cold Finn finding Mystic. And this brings it down to a duel of an IGL and to the star player of Liquid. He finds it, the triple is his. And that's the Red Bull clutch brought to you by the Liquid side of things. Brilliant stuff, excellent work, salient individual. Yumpy does it all once more on the lovely little adaptation of Omen. As you know, we all had this conversation during stage 2. Can he, once in a while get out of this jet kind of role? Then we saw him on Killjoy. It's wild.
That's the thing. I think the second player here, yeah, Mystic was still stunned. So although the ultimate kind of failed because of the timing of Doma's peak, it still gives one of those kills over, and then, well, it's just down to Yumpy to take the swing. Boaster not winning that duel. And now it's FNATIC on the back foot financially, and Scream with his Blade Storm. This is one thing I will say. I've not been massively impressed with how all of the utility was utilized when it came to KO for Scream. When it comes to Jet, I don't know. This Blade Storm in his hand, I think it's tough to find someone who can work it better.
True.
Oh. Could be a much more tentative round. Slow take from FNATIC. We've seen them almost burst into sites for the majority so far. Very aggressive, very fast takes. But that, just an ult used for information. The From the Shadows finds every single player. And once again, it's a fast take, but Scream's
no way!
Lives.
And Yumpy can only make it one. Suddenly, they just all jump on the side. Brilliant stuff from Link. And that's a 2 versus 2 that could easily work once more in favor of Liquid. The utility, well, not looking so great. At the same time, you still see that there's a guiding light for the man who just has to wiggle around the corner. And here it comes. Boaster is blind, but Doma got the reply, finds one, and Boaster chimes in when exactly needed. You see him screaming there at Doma. He's fully zen, but that worked according to plan. This is the kind of IGL you need. And don't look there, Tom. Don't look at those pictures. We want you.
I was gonna say,
fully focused.
I hope that's not a live cam, because Doma actually has his eyes closed. So either that or, like, Boaster is such a good in-game leader, he can guide him through a round when he's not actually looking. Which that would be probably the most impressive in-game leader we've ever seen in any game ever. So hey, props to Boaster if that's the case. But for now, at least, they do break back. Again, a lot of these rounds have been very cagey, very close. But once more, gonna be some financial issues for Liquid. They did well in the last to at least make things costly, bring back around when they still had a pistol. And now they're going to try and get incredibly aggressive. Now, there is going to be, I imagine, some players watching over this direction, especially knowing that there's an Omen in play. A lot of the time, your utility becomes a little bit less valuable. And, well, they've now flashed through, but even still, the realization isn't there.
No, the realization absolutely isn't there. And I had the same thought as you. I thought, like, that must just work easily. They must have a tripwire there. Not the case. Magnum gets the spike down. That's all nice and great. But the threat is closing in. The majority of the Liquid players already grouping up over on Garage. And as the smoke over on C-Long has been put in, this could be somewhat of a distraction. But it seems like Yampi's actually taken that round, has the rifle in his hands. And it's not too much time that is left over for Team Liquid. You gotta pretty much do it now or never, because otherwise it might just not all work in time. And as we talk about, here's the concussion. They still haven't really made a move. And it looks like they so much search for the exits. What is your plan, Liquid? They definitely go on site. They definitely go in. But Dirk is making short process and short work of them. That was a little too slow, but at the same time, Liquid made it work with just a few sheriffs. Just what they got out of the pockets.
Yeah, that I think towards the end of it, it came down to just trying to make things as costly as possible. Like, for Liquid there, you don't really want to be surviving because, what, you're going to keep a Marshal into the next round? The gun's not even worth much. A 950 sniper, it's not worth anything for them, and obviously you get the extra cash from dying. Obviously, they would have hoped to at least take someone down with them, maybe die to the spike instead so they're not giving over the ultimate orbs, but hey, it's worth the attempt, and now we get to see them with the full investment. An early fault line again to try and slow them down, maybe catch someone on the cross, but for now at least Dirk, this is his spot. This is where you're going to see him battling for the majority of the attack side. He loves to play in towards short A, into the sewers, and see if he's going to catch anyone here. Ooh. Information gone, and it does look like it's just going to be another A play.
No, it doesn't look like it. And taking a look at it, Soulcast, he's actually going to be caught before you see that Little Hunter's Fury getting him. Brilliant stuff though from Dirk, and Magnum chimes in and gets the double over on site. And this should once more get them to spike down. Liquid, backs against the wall, opportunities are limited, and you have to put a lot of thought into that retake if you want to make it work, because considering the kind of situation FNATIC is in, 2 shock darts on Boaster, for example, an updraft, a smoke onto Dirk, it's brilliant. It's amazing to see what they could do easily with that. At the same time, it is concerning what Breach is able to do. The fault line is absolutely dangerous. It's gonna be put towards Dirk and Boaster, actually, but no chance in the end. Yampi is trying to find exits, and he would be lucky to even get out of that alive. Goodness.
Yeah, really decent hold. A Magnum stepping up. It was something that was said in the pre-show by Yassine, of course. The lovely Yassine. Always great to have him back. He reckons if they're going to be winning this, they're going to need a lot of their players to perform. Well, thus far, you've got Dirk Adoma, the double Ds, stepping up again. Well, we haven't even seen much of Mystic yet. Now, I'm hoping that when it comes to the defensive side for Liquid, or for FNATIC even, Liquid are going to be checking Mystic corner, which for anybody who doesn't know is on your left, right there. That is the corner which he somehow managed to get way too many multi-frags from, even after doing it in back-to-back rounds. Now again, a pace change, a faster push, and it looks like it's going to be B once again.
The double D's entering in, the big hedge in front of the house, but Dirk, oh, he's whiffing the initial ones, no way! He is flashed, I'm fully with you, but at the same time, it would have been just one lucky shot and things could have worked decently. That is now the Earthquake coming down middle, and the problem starts to arise for the FNATIC side of things if there wouldn't be their hero called Doma. And that brings us to a 2 versus 2. Back and forth once more. It's once more such a tight game. So close, but do they know where Link is? It doesn't seem to be the case. Well, indeed they know, but he finds the quad. Oh my god. Tom, I don't know what we have ordered here, but it seems like we want to get ourselves the tightest possible haven possible.
A bold buff Link is back. Like that's all I'm saying. That was a ridiculous round from him in general. The pop flash initially that came through, garnering him a kill and a gun. And then you've also got the throw-in of the ultimate. the Rolling Thunder to stun up the remaining players and even get the clutch out at the end, a 4K from him. It's back and forth. It's going all the way through, and now we're going to get the investment once again from FNATIC. Now, they've got a decent amount of ultimates here. The Seekers especially. We'll give them quite a bit of information, but that's the main thing we have with these ultimates. It's not going to be a lot of damage-dealing ults, whereas on the other side, well, you got Scream using a Blade Storm.
And he's going to be the spotlight. Well, it's Yumpy who starts shining. And that's a brilliant 2K he gets. The pressure that they have made over there is obviously being absolutely on display as Magnum goes further over Garage. Easy access. And he throws his head into the game. Scream is now known and still remains back in the corner. But Dirk is not putting that spike down yet.
I think they've realized, especially with Mystic's spot, they can actually get a better afterplant with everybody already rotating. So Mystic's going to try and get deep into B, maybe find an extra pick for them in this 3v3 scenario. And for the remaining players, they can go all the way through to A without anybody being wise to it at all. Soulcast, this should be a nasty surprise, but it seems like he's actually checking it. He's wise to the position. Big brain Soulcast might have just turned around on its head, as they will now go for the A afterplant, but in a 3 versus 2.
Spike's going to be hitting the ground at that moment.
I faked it.
He did, but now it's down to FNATIC to punch above their weight and set sail towards a 5th, because otherwise it might be Liquid running away with this first half a little bit. Here it comes, Fault Line in combination with the Flash, and he gotta tell his teammate that they're all just coming down. Magnum on his own, he should be isolated. And as they come left, right, and center, no chance. It was the crucial frag of Soulcast that seemed to bring them the round. Excellent stuff coming in from him, as he was so aware that they have lurked that far. This is brilliant game awareness, and big brain coming out of the curly-haired man.
Yeah, I think it's one thing for a team to give up map control. It's another thing altogether to keep your eyes completely peeled for when it comes to some of the aggressive positions your opponents are going to be able to take. So solid work coming out from Liquid there to just make sure that, okay, we know that we've given this up, but we're still going to make sure that we check it on the way back. And well, after that, you still have both your Breach and Sky available for a retake. That's a decent amount of utility to get you back in. So 6-4. Liquid looking good. Now we have the Blade Storm on the other side, though, and, well, again, not going to count out Durka. Is he going to use it, though? Oh, no!
No!
He's
way!
It just as he walks around the corner. No chance to react there. That is a huge waste. Are they actually going to be able to clear out Scream? No. And this is the difference. Having that dash in play, the man can just escape out of these corners, reposition into a new battle, and, okay, he gets shot in the face, but, you know, he's still alive.
Felt like one of those traumatic experiences when you get some ice cream on the beach and suddenly a bird is stealing that from you. Poor lad, Durka. Scream on 19 is still, you know, an easy frag, considering, for example, the weapon we have here from Magnum, but this is the approach that Boaster describes as just poking. You know, he's trying to poke in every direction, see if he can find something, gain room slowly and steady, but sometimes your opponent got the right angle on you.
Yeah, Liquid have done really well to shut down a lot of these attempted lurk plays.
Left.
Like these sneaky pushes through behind have been something they're more than aware of. A team that obviously does their research. That's a pretty important kill, though. Yumpy goes down. Now, Scream is still available on the site. They've actually left a second player here as well in the form of Link, so it's not like this is just a freebie push, and the time could be everything. They need to clear Link from the corner, and he's already going to get
They don't realize. They didn't realize! It doesn't seem like they noticed that Scream dropped down, but this is suddenly Soulcast saying this case is closed. Brilliant stuff, the timing that Scream hit, the perfect distraction. And another round going in favor of Liquid. FNATIC are starting to struggle. And, well, that might be just a little bit too late for a pause, in my eyes. And we see a few tags, mid-door, see sight, but here it comes. Finally, they can talk to Mini.
Yeah, I can kind of understand why we haven't seen them call a pause yet. Like, they have to bear in mind that they took a lot of risks in the early rounds, so if you ignore the sort of like the force buys of the first 3 rounds, you kind of get this as a 4-4 scoreline. But now that they've lost 3 in a row, try and get yourself that final round. It's a decent time to take one, especially now that they're going into a 4-buy round as well. So I don't really have any problems with it. Again, looking at the ultimates that are currently in play, it's mainly the Seekers that are going to have the value for the teams, like Neural Theft, From the Shadows, both really used either for, well, I guess, fast rotations in one case or information in both cases. So I'd be surprised if we see massive amount of impacts coming out from either of those. And obviously, still excited to be seeing Yumpy's Operator, because we know how impactful that can be, especially in the early round.
And regarding Haven in general, it has been FNATIC that we're considering a few lineups here and there. Also, for example, in Challengers 1, you saw them very often playing that Phoenix instead of a Sky. And that on Doma, I'm just not a fan of Phoenix anymore, really. I just think at that point, the way Sky is in patch 3.0, there's no reason why you should play Phoenix if you don't play a Sky at the same time. But that's just maybe me. And either way, I think it's a better choice. It's a better decision, something that feels more comfortable on him. But I think on the desk we also mentioned, it is just sometimes that Doma is more risky than a Soulcast in playing Sky. I still think it is the right move to put him on exactly that agent.
A lot of utility being popped early by FNATIC, trying to spot how many players are actually going to be towards the A side. Now, they're faking this. They've thrown in smokes, paranoias, even TP'd to the back of A. This is all a ruse. They've tried to drag as many players as humanly possible, but Liquid have still left, well, I was going to say 2 players here, but let's say 1 now.
Let's say 1 now. Cryptics still waits and sees the head of Boaster, but is going to be eliminated immediately. With now the Breach putting down his fault line over on the side, everybody's somewhat concussed. Dirk is already on the quad and seems like he might be just hungry for the ace, as it is all down to him to kill his fellow countrymen. And obviously you got 3 more supporters left here on the battlefield as Dirk moves around. Left hand, mate. Left hand. Left hand. Hello. He's gonna find him. Yes, he does. There is the ace. And the 5th secured for FNATIC. An operator you don't really need to obtain. And this is something for the confidence of Dirk, because remember, there were a few games when FNATIC looked absolutely lackluster, where also he was just not attending, so to say, in the game.
I don't normally disagree with my co-commentator too much, Zesh, but this man does not need confidence. You are mad. You're absolutely mad. If you think Durka needs confidence, you have absolutely lost the plot.
That's not what I'm saying.
The man is one of the cockiest players I've ever seen in my life. Yes. And he does it with style.
You're getting me wrong. I think you know this is a typical Tom thing. He knows what I mean. At the same time,
it's more fun to troll you.
Exactly. Just happy we're on the same page. But at the same time, 4 words and a U at the end of it. You know what I'm trying to say. Either way, Liquid going for Garage, and it seems like no further opposition they meet for the moment. C-side might be just what they're trying to obtain, as Scream goes first as the point ban. The action over on the C-side, it comes in. First frag found, the second one not granted. And suddenly it's FNATIC in the driver's seat of this pistol.
Yeah, they've got the spike down as well. Yumpy's lurk is actually not going to be catching too much, and I'm not sure what this paranoia can actually do. He's used it, but they're not going to be able to catch any of the players because no one was really close enough. That utility popped a little bit too early, and well, it's going to leave it on the remaining 2 to try and almost push in dry. Maybe a little bit disjointed there from Liquid, but a solid read from FNATIC. 3 players stacked up on the C side to start the round. They knew what was going to happen in that pistol.
In pistol rounds, something which is basically a coin toss with FNATIC recently. Most literally, actually, when we talk about numbers. But you know what I'm just asking myself, first of all? Who at FNATIC actually approved those player cam pictures?
Well, I would say everyone. Like, who wouldn't approve those pictures? They're amazing. They've ruined the commentary of the pistol round, but that's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that.
That's okay. I think we can deal with that.
They forced as well. Both teams have forced in the second round to try and get a head start over their opponents. Didn't work for FNATIC.
Oh.
It's worked a little bit better for Liquid, but Doma does do incredibly well to keep this even.
At the same time, they basically got B control and could put the spike down if they get into a safe position. Yep, there's a tripwire. Now this has been deactivated as well. FNATIC players are all around the world as Dome Magnum can get the spike. Served on a silver platter. Thank you very much for that one, mate. And now the support from his teammates coming over spawn. That's ideal.
Behind him. Thing is, though, he's got a trip down.
There you go.
It has to be destroyed, and that'll be information enough. He's got his teammates supporting him as well, so it's going to be a little bit more of a problem for Yumpy, and he will lose that battle as well. Link as well. Like, this spot with a stinger kind of sucks, so he needs to get in nice and close, and even still, Durka's going to connect. It's interesting. So both teams have gone for these forces. Both teams have failed, and because of that, both teams are going to probably get off to a fairly slow start on their attacking side, which, well, if anything, you're just going to give a load of finances over to, well, I guess in one case it would be Durka, who's probably going to be getting that operator in earlier on, and then Yumpy on the other side as well. In the last half, we saw him have a very early operator, so I almost feel like Liquid have to try and make this one costly, because giving all of that over to FNATIC, it's going to make things very tough. And you have to bear in mind that by winning these rounds, they're also just charging up all of those ultimates for getting all those extra kills.
Obviously, this is bringing them right now in a situation where we only see what the Spanish lads call a pocket round, because you get to spare money out of your pocket, invest into that, easy peasy. And now maybe that pocket round can't be successful for the Liquid side of things. Stoma falls after Yumpy has been executed, and in front of the A site, they seem to regroup themselves. An A push could come in any second soon, but first of all, what a little witty, wonderful dart coming in.
Given information over, but it also fakes out that there's no one here, because why would you dart that position if you have someone in this corner? It completely fakes out the remainder of Wild Boast. How has he hit a frenzy shot from there? Come on, don't you dare peek that again with a frenzy. That doesn't make any sense. For now though, it is Scream. Now the weaponry he has is definitely not ideal. Utility minimal and not even close to a Blade Storm. He would literally have to win the round to be able to get it. And with the time remaining, Mystic has a pretty good angle onto the spot, but he does only have a Ghost.
Yeah, you know, mostly I would say it is Scream only having a Ghost. But that's what some say is a one tap. Absolutely. Could have worked, but
it's alright, no one will remember that.
No. I mean, considering...
That's what he does. When he whiffs, he'll then get like a 4K with all headshots, and everybody will forget that ever happened. That's the genius of Scream. When he does miss, you never remember it because he does something so good in the next round.
Do you think there's even a video which displays only Scream mistakes? Or not 10 million frag movies?
There's probably some little, like, ratty hater out there who's like, oh, look, Scream, this is the Scream whiff combo. I'm so much better at him. I play in gold.
Yeah, I really am. I'm always astonished how some fans come out also with the term retirement home, because this does not look like retirement home. This looks like young blood beheading nobody else than Scream. Brilliant blade thrown in his head. Yeah. And he's out of that equation. Liquid seems like they might have a bit of a problem to obtain the tie-in this time.
I've got your trail.
Oh no. Oh no. No, he actually just avoids. Jumps over the squid. And for him to get two there, I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to get the second kill. Not a bad spot to be in. Aftershock forcing Mystic out, but he actually manages to remain. The trade's not too bad, but it's going to be left to Yumpy. 1 versus 2, they know where he is.
And if there's a man you want in the clutch, obviously it is Yumpy, picking up the spike and having quite a bit of options where to go from that point on. A rifle would also be down on the ground, but he rather sticks to his operator. And what his GPS is saying seems to be get the hell out of the A site. But what's the next move? It seems to be directed towards C. He starts to move a little bit more swiftly. And yes, indeed, it is going to the C site. He might just consider faking it over there on A. Yeah, he does, but does even anyone realize? Yes, indeed, they do realize. I think it seems that Doma heard that, but suddenly the spike's hitting the ground, Tom. The problems start to now become a little more difficult. They know where he is, but it doesn't stop him. He's just absolutely fearless, making the move on the first. Can he get the second? No, he can't. Oh, just in time. If he would have been just a bit more swifter, a bit more faster. But there's even an upgrade for Doma now.
Yeah, no, an added benefit. They managed to win the round that was, again, ultimately sort of a bonus. It's a bit of a weird place to have it because both teams technically had a pretty strong buy coming into this, but obviously with the extra force buy round that came in for Liquid, it changes up the way that the rounds have gone a little bit. But now they get a free operator. Now, you have to bear in mind as well that Durka in the last round was just using his knives, so not only is he going to get his weapon of choice, but he can purchase for another teammate. And he's currently running Riot once again. You mentioned that the man potentially needing confidence. With peaks like that, I can see why Boaster's got that look on his face. Let's put it that way.
The real funny thing is, for me, when we're talking about May 2nd, which is not too long ago, back then, everybody on FNATIC played a fully different agent composition exactly on this map than we see right now. It's wild how swift Valorant is changing, and if you're not adapting, well, you're out of the game. No space for you. But right now, there's still space for a comeback for Liquid, if you can even call the comeback. It's only 2 rounds difference, but Dirk is once we're giving him a hard time. Oh no, obviously Scream says, hello, how are you doing, mate? And he's already obtained a bit of control, even finding kills. It gets awkward, but Dirk has the reply.
Yeah, the rest of his team, though, have actually managed to catch some players on the rotation. So they brought this back into a 3v2 scenario. Now, weaponry's still pretty weak. They're going to try and take over A link and spot if there's anybody coming from that direction, but the wraparound's coming in from behind. Magnum already picks off Yumpy, and the remaining 2 players, well, they may not be noted just yet. And actually, the wraparound timing could be everything. They've got an operator in play. Magnum already finds his second of the round, and while he definitely knows exactly where Cryptics will be, he might have had Durka's help, but it seemed like Magnum didn't need it at all.
That's absolutely a live feed picture right there of Magnum. That was absolutely a live feed picture. You saw it right there. Boaster being absolutely happy. You've done it, boy. And well, it's this is the smile. This is a winner's smile. Absolutely. I'm already waiting what kind of memes Mitch has prepared already to type down on Twitter.
I'm genuinely a little bit worried that when we cut back to cams at the end of this game, that Boaster's just going to be behind me somehow. Like, it genuinely is just starting to be like, it's Boaster's world and we're just living in it. Because if he just appears in some of the Liquid cams, that'll be truly amazing. But
I genuinely would have thought that if we also have a static image of Boaster, it will be himself screaming behind himself. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we need.
Please make it possible. I'm sure someone of FNATIC is listening. But it's an absolutely astonishing game so far. Liquid are just not missing it too much. FNATIC send Dirk in, coming in hot
he's
over.
Heard it.
Yeah, he knows.
The aggression this time being punished. A slower start for Liquid, just waiting patiently, yet to win a round on their attacking side. But you know what, Zesh, I think this one's looking pretty good. A 4 versus 2 after plant. Not really knowing the positions of either of the players, but the next one might be for free, actually. Soulcast, but it takes him a moment. He'll get there in the end.
Well, Mystic at least finds Scream and a little bit of damage he might just deal and getting the majority out of the way. That would be great in the long run, and Boaster seems absolutely astonished. What an ephemeral play from Mystic, he might just say to himself, but at that point in time, it all seems reasonable. Getting the rifle here out of the battle is still around the corner. Soulcast awaits him and easily takes his head off. Well, 10-8. We once more see ourselves in a situation where Liquid, with a bit more of a different approach, seem to possibly get this thing in their right direction.
It's one of those rounds where I do question how repeatable it will be, because a lot of it came down to just FNATIC trying to make plays through or over their utility. So we'll see if it's going to be quite as aggressive. Maybe we'll get Durka going back over onto the A site, which he pretty much managed to lock down for the majority of the early rounds. And I imagine there's going to be some sort of early dart as well to give any information over to the team. So for now, at least, again, expecting a little bit more of a default from Liquid. But I don't expect FNATIC to be I was going to say anywhere near as aggressive, but then I've just watched where Durka's going, so never mind. Timing could be rough, though.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, I genuinely am not so sure if I want to see him extend the boundaries of his team time and time again, because he's in a vulnerable position. He's from time to time in such a vulnerable position, he can't back off if there's more than one coming at him. At the same time, though, Tom, they prepare themselves for bombardment over on C.
Yeah. They've faked this out well. They've used Soulcast. He actually peeked into the drone even though it wouldn't have caught him. He wants FNATIC to know that he's here, and now the remaining players are going to have a little bit more of a tough time. It's actually not much of a defense at all, and I'm surprised that Magnum even challenges that. The Seaside one that a lot of teams are very happy to go for the retake, but his risk of playing alone is not really going to work out, and it should be a kill for Soulcast here. Durka 1 HP somehow survives. But they're now fighting 1v1s, and this is just going Liquid's way. Sure, it's impressive that they've managed to hold on to the operator, but realistically, it doesn't matter. Liquid have got the round.
It doesn't matter. It's somewhat of a circus move, rather. And as a death-defying acrobat, rather waits in window. I mean, this is the thing, right? This is exceptional awareness of Soulcast, what has just happened. They realize that there is no operator over on the C side. No Jet is awaiting them. Okay, where would the operator usually play? Where is Durka comfortable at? Okay, let it be A long. So will he remain back there, or will he be just somewhere deep close? Well, the flash was just timed for both of it, and that worked brilliantly. And, oh no. He's going for it, but he can't make it. Tell me he's not making it. Okay, okay. No heart attack.
Not quite enough time on the board, but bringing it back into contention again. From 10-7 to 10-9, a couple of rounds in a row, and by the looks of it, we might be getting a pause coming out. I would assume that's by FNATIC, because it has started to be a round or two now where firstly they get caught on their aggression, and then in this round, they basically get played. Like, Soulcast did an excellent job to sell that fake. As said, not only being spotted, they also had Scream run back over and throw down a Cloudburst, so that they almost look like, okay, we're defending this player, we're making sure he's able to get aggressive, and sold the fact that there's multiple players there. And in the meantime, they're actually just going for deep sea control. What I will say is I do think that if FNATIC are going to give up control like that, I want to see them play on a retake. Like Magnum's peek back in, it seemed incredibly risky. Now, he could definitely make plays like that where he wins them an entire round and we're calling him a genius. But in this case, it made it so that he basically had to multi-frag for them to really have a chance in that round. And, well, he didn't.
And this is where we could once more just basically raise the question, how successful is that so-called prodding approach, how Poster calls it, in this game so far, right? Because, for example, in this sense, they hardly had any C information. Team Liquid, they didn't waste any utility to show, hey guys, by the way, we're coming to C. How you feeling about that? Obviously, the peek into the little owl drone, that was perfect, Tom. That was just a little bit of distraction that worked out according to plan. And we're getting closer to a tie again. It seems like we might even have overtime on the program.
Well, you've said it now.
Do we say that word here?
You've almost willed it into existence, but with Doma being caught early by Yumpy, again, it's looking like we might get a much faster take into the B site. We're looking to try and clear out some of the utility, spot the positions as well with the Tiger, and with nothing really being there, an after plant more than likely, or a little bit of a surprise, and actually, that nets them a free kill. But granted, it will be traded back very quickly indeed, and I think they're almost reliant on Durka now to pull off a hero play.
And for anyone here from mid, do the peak. Brilliant stuff from Poster! He's getting them lined up. His ult is now ready as well, but is he going to find anything? No, he's just elevated the corpse, but he gets information. That's brilliant. Cryptic's tagged him down to 70, but Yumpy might be just coming around the corner. They have no clue what's happening. First frag found, and Cryptic's brings the tie in their favor. Yumpy screaming, and that's the finish. Hype Man once more being the cheerleader, and not only that, but also the Terminator for the Team Liquid side.
It definitely shouldn't have been that close with Boaster's lineup double actually bringing them back into the round, but all in all, again, these early picks that are coming up from Yumpy's performing excellently on this operator. This was something that we've now seen him do on so many different agents. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know why this is a thing that we're seeing corpses come back to life for a second. Like, I guess maybe we didn't know that the Hunter's Fury actually works as like a defibrillator.
Just wanted to say the same thing.
Like, it shocks them back and brings them into life.
I love that. It's exactly same thought we had, but now it's the thought of Durka that sends them into the right direction. Brilliant exercise and display of his pure and raw skill. Well, moving up to short easily.
Mystic. Come on, man. Where's the team play?
He's complaining. You see it right there.
We've seen both VCT could actually get expended. So both teams should have a pretty decent idea. Now, again, bear in mind, other than the Blade Storm, this buy from FNATIC absolutely sucks. Luckily, Durka is unbelievable, so it definitely gives them a position to work from. Yumpy's hoping that they're going to go hunting for information eventually, but it seems like after finding the man advantage, they're a little bit more patient, and there you go from the shadows. Not the most valuable, but in this case, it's going to spot, I think, all 3 players.
Most definitely, and this is where you got to ask yourself, what is the direction that Boaster is going to give to the players that pledge allegiance to him?
Oh, they're doing so well.
That's so brilliant. This is where you now actually get B information. If that wouldn't have found anything, they could have just focused on C. And so it's brilliant stuff coming in. The spike goes down nevertheless, Tom. And still, the weaponary's looking better on the Liquid side.
Actually, Durkin could get over that trip, so they're going to have to try and be a little bit more aggressive. I do like the play from Liquid. Oh, he actually snaps back to the second head, and he knows that there's a second player on that left-hand side. Durkin gets this kill onto Scream. This round is over. And it's actually, he's not going to get it. It looked like it was set in stone, but Scream has brought this back into a winnable position, down to the 1 versus 2, but one of them so desperately low, they might even spot out Cryptix. He's in this corner with his Phantom. They're going to try and peek him together, and he can't quite snap back. Huge round from Durka, Doma, and the full squad. They use their utility perfectly, their ultimates in tandem, and FNATIC have earned themselves an 11th.
And in what fashion? In what goddamn fashion? You highlighted it, Tom, and you highlighted for the right reason. That one little guiding light at the 25-second mark sent down mid. That was... do you want to call it a game changer? At least given the right kind of idea? I mean, those strikes are great.
This is pretty game changing.
That is game changing, but you still got to give a shout out to this utility usage.
Yeah,
this is something that gave them the valuable information, the intel,
and
to be sure.
And the shadows as well.
True.
And every piece of utility that FNATIC used in this round seemed to be on point. Even at the end, where we see the Tasmanian tiger, as it's so called, or the dog, or the wolf, actually give out the final piece of info as well, where the last player was. So yeah, nothing you can take away from FNATIC in that round, but Liquid are going to look to break back, and they've been very good at doing that so far. Durka, hero to villain. They're instantly dead within this round. No way to bring him back, and straight away Boasty is going to be stuck in this corner and, well, dead.
Oh no, and there's even the one-way smoke back to spawn. So suddenly, welcome back to the back and forth game. This is Team Liquid fighting against FNATIC. If you just joined us, well, it's just about slots for EMEA Challengers playoffs.
If you've just joined us, what the hell were you doing that was more important than this match? I'm just saying that now. Like
homework.
Homework.
I don't know, man. What do you do on a Saturday?
Saturday?
Wait, you guys.
I'm a broken human being, Zesh. I don't know what day it is.
Is there actually a Tom Bizian calendar? You know, a Tom where it's a different year, a different day, different time zone.
I think it just like my calendar just says working today or not working today. Like,
so it's red or it's red or green.
2 options. Yeah, it's not. It's a very simple calendar. It can lead to problems. For example, technically packing doesn't count as working today, but it is something that I need to do.
All right.
So I do have to remember some stuff.
Is there an update coming on the Tombis calendar?
No, and no one's going to have access to it because it will melt your brain.
Oh, yeah, okay. I feel you.
Just in pure frustration.
No.
Other than that, it's fine.
Well, pure frustration, I think both parties might just feel that because it so often felt like each of them is in the driver's seat. Remember, the beginning phase of the second half looked brilliant for the FNATIC side of things, but suddenly got all 180.
Yeah, no, I think Liquid have done very well not to almost get bogged down by losing some of these early or awkward rounds from FNATIC. Like, they've been able to make it work with the Blade Storm, for example, in a multitude of places. Now, once again, they faked some early presence into mid and A, but they're going to go pushing into the C side. The defense of it so far hasn't been fantastic. And again, they're going to try and force Magnum out, but they're not actually watching the angle.
Oh, and this might be Doma saving the day. He's actually backing off. 15 more seconds for one of those guiding lights, but It's more Soulcast that has high impact. The gravitas off those kills. He's sending them back home and down in the coffin. And as Scream waits for the flank of Durka, he's getting the counterpart out. Team Liquid, they bring home number 12. And that purely by the right decision, the right flanks, and the right moves.
Match point.
Yeah, no, it might have been a little bit questionable, like allowing Magnum to live initially. Like I was a bit surprised that he was able to survive in that corner. But the fact that then they just have this lurk from Soulcast, and we've spoke about it many a time, how impactful he can be on this agent. This time it doesn't even come down to the agent. Like that was just hitting the timing almost perfectly. Scream even being left as a lurk, which is not something I expected to say too often. And now they're in the driver's seat. 12 to 11, a huge map to take, a map that, as said, it goes back and forth between these two teams. And I believe was even picked by FNATIC, right?
I've
Well,
got your
Tom
trail.
easily can answer you that. It was actually picked by FNATIC, and this is making it more dramatic. Now we might just head into overtime if Boaster and Mystic keep on.
my God.
The man's not seeing a thing. He might just be blindfolded, still finds those kills. That's just a Spectre, by the way, putting that down here, but it's still Yumpy who could deliver us a show. First frag granted, second as well. The third and fourth not coming in. How close can this game get? By the way, this is map number 1.
I'm currently, without the hair, I'm doing the exact same pose as Boaster because that round was pure mayhem. I swear, I think if you were going to go on the most important rounds throughout this entire tournament, won by an individual player, Mystic takes the biscuit every single time. Like the 1v3 that he managed to win versus Giants that was just truly unbelievable, that kept them in the map. He's just done it again. Like, as you said, one of those kills was completely blind, but even still, he's battling versus players with the Spectre and managing to make it work towards the end. Did he even get the final kill as well? He did. Yeah, he even closes the round.
Yeah.
So, sure, incredible play from Yumpy, but man, Mystic has just, like, missed the impact. I don't know how he manages to do it every single time that FNATIC need it most.
Probably eats at the fanciest restaurants. It's buff.
Go on, carry on. Carry on.
I don't
Go on. Rest of the quote, please.
Hey, listen. HLTV
Freshest
memes.
clothes.
Precious clothes. Is this happening because we are from the team FNATIC? Either way, it is Liquid who's trying to take a duel over on A long. Ain't happening for the moment. And FNATIC once more split up. The only one who has somewhat of map control, that is Magnum in front of the gates of Garage.
Yeah, and in the first half especially, Liquid were very good at catching a lot of these lurk plays. Now, Mystic, I will say, is one of the sneakiest players we probably have in the whole of the VCT. So if anybody was going to find a way through this defense, he would probably be the one. I'm also looking at the current positioning of Yumpy. Now, we saw him purchase up the operator in a lot of rounds. This is a very different look. He's going to be playing contact off of his teammates, and a lot of this is going to be very reliant on the utility that's actually used here from FNATIC. If they don't clear this angle, it's round over, and I believe he still has his paranoia as well.
Left.
Yumpy's waiting. And as he patiently sees the players coming around, he whiffs on the first nearly, but okay, we're gonna rest that case. Still more are coming over to the side of A, and as from the left-hand and right-hand, Dirk and Co are chiming in. Yep, no real issue to get the spike down, but the retake, that case isn't close yet. And here comes the guiding light, or is it? Yep, mate's blind, but Boaster got it all in favor for his team. He doesn't look too happy though today. I think he's just not 100% satisfied with what we're experiencing right here. That might be the case, because genuinely, Tom, it's your map pick. You have to go into overtime. It's Liquid, but you don't want that.
And I don't know. FNATIC always go into overtime on this map. That's been their game over the last month or so. What I will say that might have been a little bit more frustrating here is, as said, they didn't check Yumpy's angle, and they're very lucky that the entries they had on the site, well, it was basically Durka just managed to dash in and kill the other two players. If he doesn't do that, they lose that round, but for not clearing him properly. So, although FNATIC have taken themselves the lead, they're still making mistakes, which, well, if anything, they're very lucky that so far Liquid didn't manage to capitalize on them. Now, again, we're going to see this execution into B, forcing every player off after plant, as said, almost becomes guaranteed at this stage, although they are actually going to send in the Wolf to get them a little bit of extra information. For now, though, we're looking at Yumpy, because this flank is everything. He could kill off not only Boaster, but he might even hear the footsteps of Durka running in behind.
that's becoming problematic. At the same time, FNATIC got so much utility. He knows. Yeah, he knows. But he's not going to find him. Still, man advantages over on Liquid. And the Prancing Horse still looks good in just this situation. Spike has been planted. You still have to fight against Sturker, who's not hitting the shots you would usually expect. Magnum Slink is not successful as well. And this brings us only to Mystic. Good luck. And nice try is probably the only thing you can say. Otherwise, he will be just an absolute magician. That ain't happening, Tom. And seems like we go for overtime again and again and again. What was that North American record we have with overtime? Was it TSM that recently did that?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I was in bed by that point.
What do you mean?
Well, one of the longest going games.
No real gamer.
It's a long time. For me, I think my record was actually that Giants game the other day that went 18-16. Not even close to what we saw in the NA side of things, but
44 rounds.
Here we go. 13-13. Of course, 2 in a row. That's all you're looking for. Sort of. Obviously, if you win the last round and then it switches and then you win one, that's not going to win you the game. But 2 rounds from here.
Thank you for the format explainer on overtime, Tom Bis 14,
welcome.
Tom Bismeyer. 1:10 left on the clock, and FNATIC haven't made a real decision yet. Soulcast gains a little bit of information how many are waiting in front of the gates of Garage. But the crucial part I'm looking at, the thing that could be the spot of bother, is a man called Yampi, nearby on the left-hand side, and might just butcher them all.
For now, at least, it does seem like Liquid has a pretty good read on this scenario. They've actually left the A site just to 1 man. Of course, Yumpy very deep. He spotted the trip as well, so he knows there's nobody around this angle. So the rest of the team have been able to rotate over to B, and it's given Scream quite an aggressive spot to try and take a face. Now, there's so much information gathering, but because of the paranoia being low, they actually get nothing for it. The counter flashes coming out of Link as well mean they can't even face on the Scream, and he's going to go dashing through. Oh, it's a bit messy, and Yumpy's actually the one to get the remaining kills on the flank. But hey, Scream worked as an impressive distraction.
Switching sides.
And this is where the problems arise when you sometimes don't bait out utility. I mean, it's so easy to say from our perspective, right? I can be sitting here and saying, hey, why don't you bait out utility? But at the end of the day, did you see how many pieces were thrown down that B mid? It was insane. It was the fault line, it was the guiding light, it was, I think, the paranoia coming in as well, if I'm not totally wrong. This is where sometimes problems start to become massive. And now, the biggest problem for FNATIC is, it's one more, and then Team Liquid will actually gain success on a map they haven't even picked.
It links into something that Saligi spoke about. He currently believes that the Sky and Breach combo is one of the deadliest that we currently have within Valorant, something they've been attempting to run on this map in particular, and well, as you can see there, it really can make things incredibly difficult for a team. FNATIC on the back foot now. We've seen both teams with opportunities to close out this map, get themselves that 1-0 lead in the series, and, well, for Liquid here, a chance to take their opponent's map.
Which is massive, right? We talked about the amount of time that has been put in by FNATIC on Split. 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean...
Both these teams like to bait. I don't believe them for a second.
Understandably, but
they're both very good liars.
True.
So I'm not gonna fall for any of those shenanigans. But
well,
35 seconds left. They're trying to now sell that same fake from before.
Yeah.
Pull them back in over into an A site hold. But it's going to be left onto Doma. That flash is so sick! He even dinks up Yumpy. It's not the kill, but he has done more than enough. Now the teleport's going to come across. This is a freebie. Doma's going to get that one all day. And the fact that this man is still alive is an absolute joke. But he finally falls. But it's bought time. And this is all that Durka needs. He's now completely behind them. They're faking out sounds. They're trying to bait in this peak. But actually they've decided to plant for Defender Spawn. That is so smart by Liquid. They made a perfect read.
Yep, they didn't have any information over long, and therefore they made a different decision. It's only down to Scream at this point in time. And he's obviously the Belgian clutch king you'd like to have in this scenario. Adil is hearing the bullets coming over from long. He gets Sturka as well. Mystic chimes in, and there's no chance. The prancing horse is riding into the sunset with a victory. Brilliant stuff. And